state of dev. I probably should have prepared for this, but I didn't. Yet again. There have been some new features since the last stream. For read off here. So July 29th, so that's basically all of the August stuff. Let's see, yes, August. Yeah, so we have awesome syncs implemented, production overflow implemented, storage bins implemented, broadcast view for syncs implemented, broadcast view for storage containers implemented, and warehousing implemented, which is what I'm going to be focusing on today. So the basic premise of the warehousing feature is something like a group, which is since been renamed factories in the current parlance. It's like a group, except you can actually send production to it. So you can see under here, warehouses listed. Now there is a bug in the UI at the moment where warehouses show up as a destination within itself. I need to fix that, but it's functional enough that I've got this pushed out. So we have here, let's get this loaded in the background. So we have here 100 units a minute of steel ingots coming in, 50 unit a minute going to storage, overflow to first sink automatically turned on. So that means we get 400 pints a minute for the sink without having actually explicitly configured an output. And then it says, oh, this stack here takes 2 minutes to fill the first stack. Yay! So the thing I'm going to be doing today is I am going to be transposing all of these placeholder warehouses to actual warehouses, which might not actually require me to be sitting in the game, but yeah. Just going to need to quickly toggle the sound card because it's being funky at the moment. There we go. Alright, so we're going to plop in a warehouse. It's going all the way down here. Sync gets automatically added. I may change that in future, but the idea was if I'm going to support automatic overflow to sync by default, I want to actually automatically add a sync. Now we could turn that feature off and remove the sync, manually, but yeah. So let's pop this window over here so I've got more space to work with. So we have placeholder for storage / syncing has got these 3 things going into it. So what we want to do is go into each of these floors. Let me say to storage. And this needs to go to the warehouse instead. Just probably want to give a different name to, just so I can find it easier. Plant and frames warehouse. So I want 3 storage bins. I want to hop into the tubes just to make sure I'm actually setting this up right. Hang on a second, the tube's that way. reinforced iron plate. Modular frame. And heavy modular frame. Now I could put these in as you know, one storage bin, because like the main difference between you know, how like storage bins and everything else functions is it takes into account the order things are being produced in and how much is being produced. So like this is getting 25 unit a minute iron plate and while the smoke alarm test goes off. There we go. So this is getting like 8 times? No, more than 8 times. 16 times the amount of stuff. It's getting a whole crap ton more of Mark 5 belt parts than it is Mark 1 belt parts, so that's why there are more slots full. It's also saying, oh, it takes 3 minutes to fill all of these, whereas it takes 24 minutes to fill all of those. Now, the one thing that the storage interface doesn't do is you can't have more than one container. You can only currently set what type of container. So if I change that to industrial storage container, you get the correct amount of slots, you get the correct icon, and obviously it impacts the storage over time and minutes to fill stats. So things like this setup over here, where we have you know, one storage container and then one industrial storage container, this doesn't support yet, which is fine. Like there's shortcomings in how this is like set up to presume you only have like one storage container in your warehouse for each item. I can change this in future. Like the only issue is like, oh, how do I coordinate like the UI to support like multiple storage containers for a given type of item? Especially considering I'm pretty sure I didn't set storage containers to have production flinging. So I can't just say, oh, this goes into that one. Anyway, so we have more storage containers in here than we have on the production planner, so let's get those in. So we've got heavy modular frames in, we've got reinforced iron plates. We need to have iron plate in. And we need to have, what's it called? Fuse modular frame. That probably shouldn't be there. Now, one of the things I need to work on here is I need to maybe add the ability to reorder these. It's a low priority feature. But what we can do for now is we can pop the save editor open. I'm going to do this in a code editor because it's going to be easier. Oh, that's handy. Docker Desktop actually auto starts with VS Code. Yay. Warehouses, containers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's fine. I can just fiddle with the names, really. No, it's storage containers I want, isn't it? Storage. Containers, there we go. Right, so if I load this up, but that didn't do what I wanted. Oh yeah, because it takes the order of the IDs. Yes, yeah. That behaved entirely as expected. This bit down here I want to edit. There we go. Iron plate. Okay, so that should be renamed to warehouse floor to match this. And then we go into iron plates, to storage. Is that not? Oh, was that not actually configured to go to the placeholder? Okay. Strange. Warehouse floor. Right, I can see some issues with my UI here. So it says warehouse, it says warehouse floor. That should really have like some indication of the breadcrumb trail to that thing. So let's pop that on the GitHub issue list. Where is that window? There it is. I'm gonna stick this in as a P1. Oh, there's me wake up alarm in case I didn't wake up. Right, let's put this as ready. Need to be able to reorder items in the sidebar. That might already be an issue. Technically this has some interaction with the JSON document format, but it's not specific to the JSON document format. So I'm not going to put the label, like that label on there, I'm just going to stick the general enhancement label on. If I can find where I put it, there it is. And I might need a new label for this one. Yep, need a new label. Edit labels. See issues. Oh, new features related to the warehousing production destination. Oop, there we go. So, new item, calculate the UI, create issue, should display breadcrumb to warehouse in UI. Let's get a screen grab of this. So, like, the basic issue here is if we've got multiple things all named warehouse floor, we want to be able to differentiate between them just by looking at the list without having to go mess about with things. Right. Yes, okay, so we want to send these to the warehouse. Boop. And then we're going to go into reinforced iron plates to storage. 2.75 to the warehouse, and then delete the placeholder. Modular frames to storage, wash, rinse, repeat. I don't think I'm going to do the full thing here, because like I've identified an issue that I need to fix, so it would make sense to work on that. Why is Satisfactory not coming up? Is it in the middle of an autosave and I didn't notice? May as well be yes at. Yeah, it was in the middle of an autosave and I didn't notice. Right, so yes, things, stuff, nonsense. Modular frame, we just did that one. Yep. So heavy modular frame. Send that to the warehouse. And the key thing here is we are sending them to the warehouse floor, not to the storage bin. We could send it directly to the storage bin, because that is like how these are built up. They come down the front of the building, they go into the smart splitter, and then they go into the storage bin. And the overflow for the smart splitter goes to sink. The reason why it's set to go to the floor itself, primarily because of the workflow I'm about to explain, but also secondarily, it's this whole premise of I want to be able to support sending production to a an entire facility or a particular factory floor, and then have inputs automatically be available for all production lines within that floor, which is something that's not really supported at the moment. So it's conceptually some of these production floors might be set up like that, but have to individually do things. And the workflow is that with warehouses, the items come into the floor and they're automatically sent to either storage or sink. And I wanted to have something which would automatically handle all of that, rather than having to say I can add in just a group called warehouse floor, which is what's being done there. placeholder storage syncing, I could replace those with the storage containers rather than like a storage placeholder pool that just lists the incoming items. And then I'd have to like manually assign the output to overflow to sync like on each individual thing, and there'd be like references to like the one sync all over the place. It would just be a little bit of a maintenance nightmare. So we go into here to storage. How much are we making? That's just 15. Why does that say 1.5? Okay, that's like weird. I don't know why that's saying 15. Is there like maybe an error in the formatting? Possibly an error in the formatting, because now it says 1.5. Anyway, 1.5 going to the warehouse floor. So placeholder should no longer say that it's getting input, but clearly it is. Now, is that a bug or is that something else going on? What ID number is this? This is production pool 49. So if I hit the save button, I'm going to search for this in VS Code because I don't have the code as a feature implemented yet. If I search for 49, right, I do actually have stuff in there. Now I'm a little bit confused. So it says warehouse floor items 49. Oh, that's for the group. Yeah, that's fine. It's this artifact of the JS document thing. I just tried to be clever and having like an abstract collection thing that handles both groups and they're all factories and facilities, because under the hood, like the code's quite similar. So there's an items property, which was fine when it was generic and there was only production pools. But now that I've started adding things like storage containers and warehouse and sinks and things, it's like the generic aspect of it's just become a problem. So hitting recalculate all. This issue here of the numbers showing up is probably an artifact of how receive output works. So there's a function within the system on an interface like can receive output, which basically says here's a production set. Like it's a key value thing of like items and the amounts. When a calculation happens, like that total is sent over to like the thing that can receive the output, and then it does stuff. You know, it might, like in the case of storages, it triggers the like update of the storage container display, and the awesome things triggers the update of the points, totals, etc. Because this is no longer receiving output, it's behaving as if it received like the last set of output, which is possibly a problem. So I'm wondering what happens if I just manually add input. So yeah, now it's saying like the input is like flung here, but the output is 0, which is I expected, but it's still showing like the remaining things. So if I go bloop 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 bloop, can't delete it because it's a flung thing, but I can delete the iron ingot. So yeah, I need to stick that on the issue tracker. Stick that on as a P2. Production flinging. Removing output should update the destination, well, the old with an altered received output. TLDR there. Destination with all outputs removed should no longer consider itself to have received output. Now maybe if I save and reload this, it'll fix itself, like such like this stuff will disappear. Recalculating all didn't work, but maybe this will. Because then within the scope of the application, the output won't have been there. So like a recalculation and like a document reload should behave the same, but clearly it doesn't. Anyway, because this is now sorted, I can double check in here for 49 again. So references to this placeholder pool is the pool itself, the warehouse floor with the pool in, and then the current thing. So if I just hit delete there, we now have this here, and we can't delete the warehouse floor. Need to add delete. Have I not got an issue in for that already? Yeah, I don't. Needs to be able to delete empty facilities and factories. The exception to that is if there's like nothing left. The UI should behave if there's nothing in it. But obviously it's not going to be as nice. Anyway, we can go into the JSON document and manually remove this warehouse, which is going to be number 7. I just have to look for all the references to that, I think. There we go. This is one of the reasons why I need to add it into the actual UI, because doing this off like stream is just dull content. There we go. So there's that deleted. I'm going to leave the current thing with the stale reference on purpose. So it should load and just not display anything. And then we click into the warehouse once it's finished calculating. Okay, here we go. So these now need to be assigned. Fling production summary needs to show what's coming into the floor. Warehouse floor. So stick this in as 100 as it'll show us the numbers. Right, iron plate. So that's going to be 45. Have I got a bug in there? Maybe. Oh yeah, that's not triggering an update on the UI. I'm going to consider that a non-issue for now. Is that 4.75? $3.75. I can't add up. Right. Just put the rest of these in. Oh, right, that's in the wrong place. And the delete button doesn't work. Okay, let's put that on the issue tracker as well. This is like further examples of like why I'm not going to do the entire thing today, because there's like clearly some issues need taken care of. Can't delete production flinging from warehouse floor. Now there's a tiny chance that's deleting from the wrong thing. It does say could not find source entity and remove production flinging entry. Yeah, it just I overlooked it in a bit. So I can see exactly where the problem is. I just, you know, need to go fix it. What ID number's that one? Storage container 3. So that's set to 3. Heavy minded a frame. Loop. Fuse modular frame. Loop. That's 1.5. Right, so I've clearly got some issues here with the output not being received. Well, although it was being received initially, we can see the total sync points in theory from here is 32,400 a minute. Which I don't think that's actually happening. I mean, it might be, but I've got production shortfalls elsewhere. If I go to iron plate, I mean, it could be that this is happening really fast, so I wasn't noticing. So that should trigger receive output on the warehouse, which should then trigger receive output on the storage container, but it isn't. Yes, we can see that the iron plates exist for a moment and then they don't. Which means the receive output function is working and then it isn't. So yeah, we need to work on that. But we can see like how the UI works. It's like the UI sidebar stuff is behaving, the production flowing from the warehouse floor to the individual containers is working. It's just that the APIs weren't initially built with this in mind, so like the automatic propagation's falling over in places. So that needs to be tweaked. Like for example, recalculate production 1. That assumes that it's a production pool, and this being like the first sync in the system means, oh, it's you want to recalculate pool 1. It's not that you want to recalculate the isolation boundary for the sync, which is what we actually want to do. So I'm going to save this. Stick it into the file I've got. So that's going from file format version 7 to file format version 10. And I'm now going to pop offline and work on some of these bugs. But, you know, that's like just a basic tour of how some aspects of the warehousing feature works. And yeah, we can see here how the storage container feature is meant to work when it behaves with the warehousing feature. So yeah, we can pull up the homepage again and pop up in the Awesome Sync demo. I can't remember if I did a state of demo where I demonstrated this, but you know, we've got the general and the alien DNA, and if we have multiple syncs, it then shows how many points are being made in the current sync, how many are being made in others, and how many in total, which is not something that you see in the game, because the game only shows the global point value. Now, in the unlikely event I ever add save file support for this, It would then mean you'd be able to like see how much each individual factory's sink is actually taken in. Skim might show that as well. I haven't actually checked, but it's just like I think like it's the first thing that UI does better than the game. I'm sure the game probably tracks the per minute like instance like totals, but it's not really a loss because it's meant to be a co-op type game, not a competitive game. So the idea of separate sync total values might not really be useful for Coffee Stain's purposes. Anyway, I'm going to pop off before I start rambling. That's going to be all for now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.